Ah, the bluegrass hills of Kentucky. Some of the prettiest countryside you'll ever lay eyes on. A nice place to kick back and relax. But nobody was relaxing around Bowling Green in July. Because that's when Musclecar Nationals '87 came to town. It gets hot down here in south central Kentucky around Bowling Green. The only place you feel the heat isn't out there in those fields. There's some real heat out here on the drag strip at Beach Bend Dragway. I'm Virg Bennett, and for the next few minutes we're going to take you on a real hot tour of the 1987 Musclecar Nationals. More than 150 of the toughest, meanest muscle cars came to Beach Bend for 2 solid days of unbeatable action. Camaros, GTOs, Roadrunners, Cobra Jets, AMCs, they were all there, the finest examples of American muscle. Over 5,000 lucky people were treated to Muscle Car Review magazine's Big Show and Go, which was a race, show, and swap meet all in one. Fantastic racing, beautiful cars, and all the car parts you could ask for in one location. We talked with Donald Farr and Paul Zazarine, editors of Muscle Car Review, poolside at the Holiday Inn before race day. They told us why this is one of the nation's fastest growing phenomena and gave a few tips to those who want to get started in the sport.
Well, I think it's the fact that a lot of these guys that have restored muscle cars or gone through the show car scene where they've parked cars all day and just sit around and talk. I think they've graduated from that to a time when they can take the cars onto the track and run them and enjoy the performance of what the cars were built for.
We've also got a situation where a lot of the car owners are so used to going to events of their own kind of car, like a Chevy show or a Mustang show. And at muscle car shows, they can all come and see what the other guy's doing. The Buick guy can look at what the Mopar guy's doing.
I think it brings up some of the classic confrontations of 20 years ago. I think the Grand Sports Stage 1 and the Hemi Mopar is a classic example of those old rivalries that were happening on the street. 20 years later, we're bringing them back and putting them on the track. So it's almost like it was happening then and it's happening now. It seems like a natural progression. I think one of the main reasons that the muscle car craze will continue to get stronger is that a lot of our generation who couldn't afford these cars 20 years ago have now grown up, they've become affluent, and they want to go back and recapture some of that nostalgia of their youth. And they see the muscle car craze developing and getting stronger, and it just perpetuates itself. And more people will continue to find these cars, resurrect them, restore them, and bring them to events like the Muscle Car Nationals.
Well, I think for people who are coming into muscle car racing for the first time, they should read a magazine like Car Review. For example, in a few issues back, we did an article on how to drag race your car for the first time. So many of the people who are getting into the muscle cars have not really been on a drag strip, at least maybe never, or maybe it's been 20 years since they've been on a drag strip. The article in Car Review told them how to stage their car, how to do burnouts, how to cut a good reaction time. The magazine also tells how they can restore their cars and keep them stock and within the spirit of the rules of muscle car racing.
Well, we've already been around the parking lot this afternoon, and already there's some beautiful cars that are pulling in. We're really excited about tomorrow. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of our readers and a lot of people we haven't met before. We're looking forward to 2 terrific days of fun, both showing and racing these muscle cars. And this Muscle Car Nationals that we're holding this year hopefully will be the first of many that we'll be able to bring more and more muscle cars together and have an excellent time.
An excellent time is what the racers were looking for out on the track too, so let's get into round one of the pure stock small block class. In the near lane, Harley McCabe in a 62 Corvette 327 Fuley 4-speed. In the far lane, Blaine Rexford 67 Shelby Mustang 289 4-speed. And the Shelby gets a slight hole shot. But the Fuley vet reels in the Shelby on top end, 1477 94.53 to 1578 88.40. In the near lane, Joe Rajasic, 71 Dodge Demon 340 automatic. In the far lane, Charles Futrell, 62 Chevy 283 automatic. Rajasic takes the win, 1686, 64.10 to the Chevys, 1825, 74.25 miles per hour. In the near lane, Brad Hillocks, 1971 Hornet, SC 364 speed. In the far lane, Keith Crabtree in a 1970 Plymouth Cuda 340 4-speed. Hillock gets there first, 1516, 95.13 to a trailing 1535, 92.78. In the near lane, Ron Meyer in a 70 Mustang, Boss 302 4-speed. In the far lane, Danny Dodds, 70 Challenger TA 340 6-pack 4-speed. Dodd takes the win, 1497, 94.53 to Myers, 1545, 91.64. And that completes round one of Pure Stock Small Block. In the first round of Pure Stock Big Block, Randy Van Hook in a 70 Roadrunner 6-pack draws a bye run as Den Bennett's LS6 Chevelle has problems and is unable to race. Van Hook strokes the big 6-barrel Roadrunner through nice and easy. No point in straining the motor needlessly. No speed or ET is recorded. In the near lane, Danny Lappy in a 69 Hurst SC Rambler 394 speed. In the far lane, Michael Brown in a 71 Roadrunner 440 6-pack automatic. AMC's wild red, white, and blue hot rod takes on the big tri-carb Mopar. Both drivers stage carefully. Brown 6-pack gets there first, 1394, 99.55 to 1468, 94.93. In the near lane, Don Whitwood, 70 Charger, 440 6-pack automatic. In the far lane, Ed Meyer in a 69 Mach 1 428 SCJ 4-speed. Meyer cuts the light too close and red lights. Whitwood's Charger takes the automatic win, 1478, 95.13 to 1550, 92.02. In the near lane, Jeff Lee's 70 Roadrunner 383 automatic draws a bye run. Jeff doesn't spare the horsepower, though, as he makes a 1469.94.93 mile per hour run. In the near lane, Tom West's 65 Buick Wildcat Grand Sport 425 4-speed convertible, a very rare and unusual combination. In the far lane, Leroy Savely in a 70 Olds 442 455 W30 automatic. The Wildcat GS was a luxurious performer that combined comfort and power in a big package, while the W30 represented a less subtle approach to all-out acceleration. Savely's Olds takes the win 15:41.89.82 to 16:34.85.55. In the near lane, Bob Gross in a 70 Grand Prix 455 HO automatic. In the far lane, Mason Dixon 70 Challenger 440 6-pack automatic. When he's not racing, Mason Dixon is a DJ on a Tampa, Florida rock and roll station. Let's see how he boogies outside the studio. Mason grooves to a win at 14:10.99.11 to a losing 14:84.94.33. In the near lane, Valerie Meyer in a 68 Shelby GT500 KR 4-speed gets a bye run as Mike Bennett's Mustang has problems and fails to stage. Racers like Shirley Muldowney have provided a real inspiration for other women who'd like to participate in drag racing. Valerie Meyer is fearlessly competing here with a high-powered 4-speed machine in a sport occupied mostly by men. But like Shirley Muldowney, she's not about to be intimidated. Valerie's solo pass produces a 15 flat at 92.59 miles per hour. In the near lane, Chuck Graber draws another solo run as Wayne Shelton's GTO has trouble and is unable to stage. Cars like this 406 Tri-Power 62 Ford were one of America's first true muscle cars. Before the medium-sized machines began to appear in the mid-60s, these 4,000-pound beasts were drag strip terrors. Chuck knocks down a 1524 at 91.46 miles per hour. In the near lane, Richard Walker's 69 Roadrunner 383 automatic gets a bye run since Steve Cush's Shelby Mustang can't make the call. Temperatures at the racetrack approached 100 degrees and many cars fell victim to vapor lock and overheating. Under normal conditions, stock muscle cars are not only fast but extremely reliable as well. But on this day, the heat took its toll at Beach Bend. The big beep beep goes through at 1475, 93.75 miles per hour. In the near lane, Mike Isaacs in a 1970 Trans Am 400 automatic. In the far lane, Larry Fleming, 69 Charger 500 440 automatic. We talked with Larry during time trials. Larry Fleming from Franklin, Kentucky brought one of the rarest of all Mopars, a 1969 Charger 500. Larry, tell us a little bit about your car here. How long have you owned it?
I've had it about a year and a half. I've just gotten it out of the body shop.
Just completed a restoration?
Right.
Okay, how you...
Almost completed. Almost completed.
Okay, what do you got under here? Looks like a 440.
444 barrel, automatic.
Okay, how's it running today?
Just fair. I'm turning about 14, 15, 20.
Okay, but is this your first time out with the car?
Since I've made a few changes, yes.
What do you think she'll turn ultimately when you get all the bugs ironed out?
I was hoping for low or high 13s, but not today, I don't think.
Okay, what class are you running in?
Pure stock, big block.
Let's see if Larry can handle Mike Isaac's Trans Am. He gets the hole shot. And he gets there first at 14:26, 95.94 to a losing 16:83, 76.01 miles per hour. In the near lane, J.C. Brown, 67 Chevelle SS 396 4-speed. In the far lane, Tom Goodman in a 70 Challenger RT 440 4-speed. Brown red lights and Goodman takes the automatic win at 15:73, 89.46 to a 17:44, 52.32 miles per hour. Gene Rivers' 69 Dodge RT 440 automatic goes it alone as Kenneth McCann's SC Rambler experiences problems. Gene drove up from Georgia and, like most muscle car owners, is not afraid to use his RT for its intended purpose. Right now, though, he's content to make an easy pass and coasts through at a leisurely 20.38, 50.79 miles per hour. In the near lane, Harley McCabe in a 72 Corvette 454 automatic. In the far lane, Jim Dickman's 65 Pontiac Grand Prix 421 Tri-Power automatic. And the big Pontiac gets a hole shot on the vet. But the vet reels him in on top end 14:59, 95.94 to 15:55, 89.28. In the near lane, Pat Krieger's 70 Cyclone Spoiler 429 automatic. In the far lane, James Oakley in a 70 GTO Judge Ram Air 3 400 automatic. The Judge and the Cyclone are both limited production cars, typical of an era when Detroit emblazoned their cars with wild graphics to match their wild performance. The Cyclone romps to a 14:70, 93.75 win over the Judge at 17.43, 80.21 miles per hour. In the near lane, John Hutchins in a 70 Buick GS 455 automatic. In the far lane, Charles Hearing, 72 Charger 400 automatic. Hearing red lights, giving the automatic win to the Buick. Hutchins goes through first, 14:59, 94.93 to a trailing 15:45, 89.28. Heating the tires is an important part of getting good traction. Here's a demonstration of how it's done. Spin the tires in the water a bit, move out of the water box for a series of dry hops to further heat up the rubber. Hot rubber is soft, and soft rubber bites better. In the near lane, Lawrence Conley, 70 Buick GSX 455 automatic. In the far lane, Christopher Flake, 71 Corvette 454 4-speed. Conley storms to a 1398, 93.55 wind to a losing 1531, 92.78 miles per hour. In the near lane, Jack Schnitzer's 63 Dodge Polara 426 Max Wedge Automatic. In the far lane, Len Greco in a 69 Super B 440 6-pack 4-speed. 6 years separate these two examples of the ultimate performance Dodge. Dual quads versus 3 deuces, automatic versus stick. Which is quicker? Greco's Super B gets there first, 1374, 99.55 to a 14 flat, 101.35. In the near lane, Russ White 69 GTO 400 4-speed. In the far lane, Wayne Garrison 68 GTO 400 automatic. A pair of convertibles on the line. Pontiac Showcase Supercar, GTO versus GTO. And apparently White rolls out of the stage beam and red lights while Garrison heads full bore for the finish line. Garrison goes through way ahead at 15:53, 90.36 to a trailing 21.29, 90.72 miles per hour. In the near lane, Dan Zare in a 69 Mustang 428 automatic. In the far lane, Ron Gadoshian, 73 Firebird Formula 455 Super Duty automatic. Gadoshian's whole shot wins it with a 1484 96.15 to a quicker 1451 94.33. A Super Duty Formula Bird is super rare. We talked with Ron soon after he'd completed his first run of competition. Ron Gadoshian from Pontiac, Michigan brought a Pontiac of his own, a Super Duty 455 Formula Firebird. Extremely rare. Ron, how many of these cars did they make?
In '73, there was only 43 cars made, as best as they're able to tell us, because Pontiac didn't keep exact records on the production.
How you been doing with this car out here today? You went through round one and survived. What's it look like?
Well, it looks kind of tough. I'm going with pure stock category and using Eagle GT tires, and it's hard to hook it up. That's the only problem.
What was your ET?
1470. Last year I ran 1370 with the M&H tires.
So it's just a little bit slippier with these tires, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Hopefully we can get it to hook up a little better, come out a little harder.
In the near lane, Mark Carlton in a 67 Olds 442 W34 speed. In the far lane, Brian Thomas in a 68 Roadrunner 426 Hemi automatic. Thomas backpedals to a 1431 72.93, but still takes the win over Carlton's 1513 90.18. In the far lane, Stacy Pendergrass's beautiful 67 Shelby GT500 takes the solo by run. Stacy brought a pair of Shelbys to Beach Bend. Let's have a look at them.
This one here is pretty much a pure stock 67 Shelby GT500. There were approximately, or actually were 2,050 500s built in 1967 by Carroll Shelby plant in California.
What kind of motor's in this?
428 cubic inch with, it's supposed to come with 2 4-barrels. I've got a single 4 for gas mileage purposes.
Okay, what about this this unusual black Mustang behind us here? Tell us about this one.
That is my fun car. It's not only controversial, but extremely fun to drive. That is a very rare Mexican Shelby.
A Mexican Shelby. How does that differ from a U.S. Shelby?
Well, there were only 32 Mexican Shelbys built in Mexico. They were built at the Mexico City plant, and Eduardo Vasquez, if I pronounced that right, was the manager and president of the plant in Mexico, and he decided he wanted some racing type cars in Mexico. He called Carroll Shelby and got licensed approval to make some, and that's what they built, was 32 of them, and this is the prototype of the 32. This was the first one, and he kept this one. It came with a weird roof line. It came with aircraft landing lights on the front for night racing, fiberglass hood, fiberglass trunk lid, and fiberglass front bumper, acid dip fenders, supports taken out to get rid of weight. They came with 302 Boss engines and 351 engines.
In other words, they're vastly different from your garden variety Shelby, if you can call any Shelby garden variety.
Different, unbelievably different. I went to the SAC 12 meet, which is a Shelby meet in Charlotte, North Carolina, and people just went bananas over this car because it doesn't look like anything you've ever seen, because the other Shelbys that were built were either convertibles or fastbacks, and this is taken from a coupe body. And then they made it look similar to a fastback with the roof line.
Okay, now you're going to race your red car out here today in eliminations. You had some problems with your black Mexican Mustang yesterday.
Okay. Problems are exactly what I had. I twisted a drive shaft in half and threw everything out of kilter and busted a bell housing, busted the transmission, the starter. I know what caused it, so I'll solve the problem. It's just when I get home and get the right parts.
Okay, well, good luck to you, Stacy, and thanks very much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Stacy's luck didn't hold, because after this round, his red Shelby was also unable to continue in pure stock big block eliminations. Pendergrass goes through at 14:40.99.77 to end the first round of pure stock big block. And now the first round of the pure stock current class. In the near lane, Lloyd Tarter in an 87 Grand National Turbo Automatic. In the far lane, Mike Rich in an 87 Daytona Shelby 2.2 Turbo 5-speed. Tarter gets the win, 14:11.98.03 to a trailing 15:94.86.70. In the near lane, Lawrence Beals, 86 Grand National Turbo. In the far lane, David Arendt in an 85 Mercury Capri 302 HO 5-speed. Beals Buick gets there first, 1381 100.22 to a 1521 92.21. In the near lane, Tony Tull in an 86 Grand National. In the far lane, Kenny Lee's 85 Mustang 302 5-speed. Tull gets the win, 1455 94.73 to a 1492 92.21. In the far lane, Jim Wells in an 87 Grand National gets a solo by run since his competition is unable to make the call.
Okay, people want to remind you about our swap meets going on along the car show. I'll get it right there. Car show. Swap meets going on in the manufacturing midway. And Frank Single is right-hand lane.
Wells goes through at 15:13 94.53 miles per hour. In the near lane, Jeff Harrington's 86 Regal T-Type also goes it alone as his would-be competition falls victim to the Kentucky heat. Harrington turns a 14:49 96.98 miles per hour. In the near lane, Bob Colvin in an 87 Buick Regal T-Type. In the far lane, Michael Benet's 86 Grand National. The large number of turbo Buicks in the pure stock current class points out one obvious fact. These cars are quite simply outstanding performers. The intercooled turbocharged 231 V6 produces enough horsepower to get these big cars well into the 13s. Many people feel that the last true muscle car was made in 1973, but cars like the Turbo Buicks are proving them wrong. Colvin gets the win, 13:78, 99.11 to 15:12, 97.61. In the near lane, Bill Sineski in an 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Bob Catarano's 87 Mustang GT 302 5-speed. And Sineski gets the automatic win as the Mustang red lights. Sineski goes through at 14:34, 96.15 to a 16:08, 88.06. In the near lane, James Kaminsky's 86 Grand National. In the far lane, Perry Bruce in an 87 Regal Turbo. Kaminsky gets the win, 14:04, 99.77 to a losing 15:19, 92.78. In the near lane, Matt Bennett's 85 Mustang 302 5-speed. And in the far lane, Mark McCahoon in an 86 Omni GLHS 2.2 5-speed. In a close race, Bennett's Mustang edges out the Omni 1491, 92.59 to 1525, 92.59. In the near lane, Jeff Mosing in an 87 Mustang LX 302 HO 5-speed. In the far lane, David Renier in a 77 Trans Am 400 automatic. Mosing wins 14:28, 92.54 to 15:83, 87.54. We talked with Jeff after he made this run. 14:28 at 92 miles an hour from an 87 5-liter Mustang, really getting down the pike. Who are we talking with here?
Jeff Mosing from Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay, you happy with your car, Jeff?
Yeah, earlier on Friday we weren't running as fast as we wanted to. It took a lot of tweaking, cooling the motor down, letting it sit, and a couple other things, watching the air pressure on the tires, and we dwindled our times down.
In the far lane, Tom Bohannon's 87 Mustang 302 5-speed makes a solo pass when his competition fails to make the call. Bohannon goes through at 15:78, 74.62 miles per hour. The staging lanes for the pure stock current class look like a who's who directory of late model muscle. The next pair of racers heads for the starting line. In the near lane, Ken Woodard in an 87 Regal Turbo. In the far lane, Dalton Williford's 87 IROC Z Camaro 350 automatic. Woodard's Buick gets there first, 14:56, 90.18 to 15:11, 91.09. In the near lane, Dave Hodges' 86 Mustang GT 302 5-speed. In the far lane, Ron Wagner's 87 Grand National. Wagner wins 14:58, 92.97 to 15:56, 90.72 miles per hour. In the near lane, Greg Old in an 85 Trans Am 305 automatic. In the far lane, James Taylor in an 86 Monte Carlo 305 automatic. Olds Trans Am wins at 1569, 89.46 to a trailing 1643, 86.37. In the near lane, Denise Barnes in an 87 Grand National. In the far lane, John Penzone in a 73 Grand Sport 455 4-speed. Denise gets the win, 1584, 89.46 to the V8's 1611, 89.10. Let's see what Denise has to say about her last run. Denise Barnes from Union City, Indiana, has one of these big, bad Grand Nationals we've been seeing so much of around here. Denise, what kind of time did you turn?
I did a 1584, excuse me.
And you went through the first round. You were a winner?
Yes.
Okay, and you're cooling her down here and going to go back out there and have at it again.
I hope so.
Okay, what do you got here on your intercooler? I see you got something bunched up here.
I got some ice on it, so it'll cool it down faster.
That helps?
I hope so. I think it did a little bit.
Okay, you happy with the way you and your car performed?
I perform a little better in Indiana. I think I could get faster times than I do here.
Okay. You going to do anything different this next time out here?
No, I'm going to probably just try to be real consistent.
In the near lane, Corey Dykstra's 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Greg Mattingly's 86 Grand National.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want to work your way towards the drag strip. You're going to see a lighting pad on the top pillar.
Dykstra's 87 GN gets there way ahead at 14:47, 91.83 to a coasting 21.78, 43.43 miles per hour. And that concludes round one of the Pure Stock Current class.
Place to win on the second row. Okay? You just follow on up. It makes it simple. It makes it easy for you to know when to line up, where to line up.
Organizing and coordinating a terrific event like the Musclecar Nationals is no easy task, but Latham Hill, Jerry Kelly, and Richard Lassiter of KLH Promotions did an excellent job. In the Friday evening drivers' meeting, they outlined procedures and answered questions for the drivers who attended. The meeting was especially valuable for many of the drivers who had never raced on a drag strip before, so when race day came, there were no surprises. And now the first round of the Junior Stock Big Block class. In the near lane, Lawrence Conley's 70 GSX Stage 1 automatic. In the far lane, Dave Phillips' 66 Chevy 427 four-door 4-speed. Phillips gets there first, 13:16, 103.92 to 13:42, 101.35. In the near lane, Rick Singer's 71 Mach 1 429 SCJ 4-speed. In the far lane, Tommy Edwards in his 70 GS Stage 1 automatic. The Grand Sport takes the win, 14:47, 92.40 to 14:86, 96.15. In the near lane, Paul Suloff, 69 Roadrunner, Hemi automatic. In the far lane, David Bunn in a 70 Chevelle SS 454 automatic. Bunn takes the win, 13:34, 102.5 to an identical 13:34, 103.44. Starting line reaction time wins it for the Chevy. In the near lane, Ed Meyer in a 68 Shelby Mustang 428 automatic. In the far lane, Gary Grillo in a 72 Trans Am 455 HO automatic. Watch Grillo's staging technique, bumping the front tires into the stage beams to allow maximum front tire rollout and less chance of a red light. Meyer wins with a 14:28, 95.54 to a quicker but losing 14:27, 98.46. In the far lane, Bob Karakashian, 69 Super B, draws a solo by-run and makes a gentle pass. Likewise, Joe Schenfeld takes a bye in his 68 GTX. And Joe backpedals it just off the line. Where solo bye runs are concerned, there are two schools of thought. The two previous drivers chose not to strain their machines unnecessarily by going all out. Chet Varner, on the other hand, puts on a good show and goes for it in his 69 Mustang 428 4-speed. Chet turns a 14 flat 100.22 to end the first round of Junior Stock Big Block. In the first round of Junior Stock Current, Lawrence Conley draws a bye run in his 86 Grand National and goes all out for the finish line. Conley turns a 1383 100.67 miles per hour. In the near lane, Gordon Moore in an 87 Regal T-Type. In the far lane, Jim Wells in an 87 Grand National. Wells takes the win, 1352 100 flat to 1413 98.46. Ron Myers gets a bye run in his 73 Mustang 351 and takes it easy going to the finish line. In the near lane, Harley Head in an 86 Corvette automatic. In the far lane, Luther Harmon's 86 Grand National. Harmon gets there first, 1429 97.61 to 1521 91.83. And that concludes the first round of the Junior Stock Current class. And now the first round of modified small block. In the near lane, Chris Farracio's 72 Dodge Challenger 340 automatic. In the far lane, Clark Rader in a 73 Dodge Dart 340 automatic. And Rader gets the win, 1485 95.33 to a 1491 92.21. In the near lane, Tim Davis in a 71 Dodge Demon 340 4-speed. In the far lane, Mark Schaefer's 79 Z28 Camaro 350 4-speed. Davis wins 1387 102.04 to a trailing 1523 91.64. And that ends the first round of modified stock small block. And now the first round of modified stock big block. In the near lane, David Kintner in a 69 Roadrunner Street Hemi 4-speed. In the far lane, Jeff Humble in a 70 Cyclone 429 Cobra Jet 4-speed. Kintner red lights and then misses second gear. The Cyclone storms to a 1445 100.67 to a 1538 85.87. In the near lane, Dennis Barr's 69 Chevelle 396 automatic. In the far lane, Russell Wiseman, 68 Olds, 442, 400 4-speed. The Chevy takes the win, 1410 98.25 to a 1585 89.82. In the near lane, John Chamberlain's awesome 70 Grand Sport 455 Stage 1. In the far lane, Kenny Asbury's 64 Plymouth 426 Street Ram Automatic. Chamberlain rips a 1291 104.89 to a 1383 102.97. In the near lane, Jimmy Bingham, 66 Dodge 440 Automatic. In the far lane, Joe Smith, 71 Javelin 401 Automatic. In past muscle car meets, Joe has established himself as a remarkably consistent driver, cutting good lights and frequently beating faster cars. And hello to you, Paul Zazarine, and to all the Muscle Car Review staffers, our hosts for this event. Bingham leaves too soon and red lights. Smith automatically wins, turning 1411 95.54 to 1451 94.73. In the far lane, Danny Carroll's 68 Roadrunner 440 Automatic gets a solo by run when his competition doesn't come to the line. And Danny goes through at 1517 97.18 miles per hour. In the near lane, Norman Deal's 71 Grand Sport 455 Automatic. In the far lane, Brian Mahaxi's 66 Chevelle 396 Automatic. And Mahaxi red lights. Deal gets the automatic win, 1313 103.92 to 1359 105.63. In the near lane, Ray Brown in a 65 Plymouth 383 Automatic. In the far lane, Bob Ellis in a 70 Torino 429 SCJ 4-speed. Brown takes the win, 1506 7109 to a trailing 1773 57.10. In the near lane, Marvin Bell in a 68 Chevelle 454 4-speed. In the far lane, David Mattingly's 69 Mustang Boss 429 4-speed. And Val rolls out of the stage beam and gets a big red eye. Mattingly takes the automatic win, 1428 92.59 to 1746 61.30. Kevin Burchell's 67 Camaro 396 Automatic draws the by run and makes an easy pass. This concludes round one of the modified stock big block class. Everybody knows drag racing's fun for the racers. And it's good family entertainment too, especially at a comfortable track like Beach Bend. You can sit in the shade with a cool drink or picnic and soak up the sun. Either way, it's fun for everybody. And no other motorsport lets you get so close to the cars. There are no prima donnas in drag racing. Even the pros are approachable. Action, speed, beautiful cars, and friendly people. All that's necessary for a real good time. During the mid to early 60s, Detroit was heavily involved in factory-sponsored superstock and factory experimental racing. The cars of that era eventually evolved into today's fuel-funny cars. Between rounds of racing, KLH Promotions and Muscle Car Review arranged for a number of these beautifully restored vintage cars to make exhibition runs much to the crowd's delight. The first pair of cars are the ex-Ram Chargers Race Team 63 Max Wedge Lightweight Dodge and Arnie the Farmer Beswick's former racer, a 63 Swiss Cheese Catalina 421 Super Duty. Both cars are currently owned by Bill and Sheila Blair. The Ram Chargers car was a many-time national champion in superstock and was usually driven in those days by Jim Thornton. The big Pontiac was manufactured in numbers only sufficient to qualify for the AFX class. Utilizing lightweight fiberglass and aluminum body parts, these big cars weighed in at less than 3,300 pounds. The Dodge wins at 1175, 108.43 to 1221, 115.97. The Ram Charger Dodge also took on the 64 lightweight A-stock Ford belonging to Marty Snowball. The big Galaxy has the teardrop hood characteristic of the superstock Fords of 1964. The Dodge gets the win, 1127, 120.96 to 1138, 118.11. A lot of that old superstock blood flows through the veins of the muscle cars we're seeing here today, and these cars are just as much fun to watch. So let's return to round 2 racing action. Next up are the second round pairings in the pure stock small block class. In the far lane, Joe Rajacik's 71 Dodge Demon 340 gets a solo by run and makes an easy pass. And the Demon goes through at 1641, 55.55 miles per hour. In the near lane, Brad Hillock's AMC SC360 Hornet 4-speed. In the far lane, Danny Dodd's 70 Challenger TA 340 6-pack 4-speed. Two fine small block Stormers on the line. The winner of this race will face Joe Rajacik's 340 Demon in the class final. And Hillock gets a nice hole shot.
A green light start for both racers.
Hillock takes the win with a 1491 95.33 to a quicker but losing 1480 95.33. And that concludes round 2 of the pure stock small block class. And now round 2 of pure stock big block. In the near lane, Gene Rivers 69 Dodge RT 440 automatic. In the far lane, Tom Goodman in a 70 Challenger 440 4-speed. Rivers gets there first, 1423 96.35 to 1504 88.06. In the near lane, Don Whitwood in a 70 Charger 440 6-pack automatic. In the far lane, Jeff Lee's 70 Roadrunner 383 automatic. Lee takes the win, 1459 89.82 to 1573 87.87. In the near lane, Randy Van Hook's 70 Roadrunner 440 6-pack 4-speed. In the far lane, Michael Brown, 71 Roadrunner 440 6-pack automatic. Pick a pair of 6-packs. Brown gets there first, 1392 99.33 to 1535 91.27. In the near lane, Mason Dixon, 70 Challenger 440 6-pack automatic. In the far lane, Leroy Sabley, 70 442 W30 automatic. Mason gets the win, 1421 98.68 to 1541 90.54. In the near lane, Valerie Meyer in a 68 Shelby GT500 428 4-speed. In the far lane, Chuck Graber's 62 Galaxy 406 Tri-Power 4-speed. Like many cars, Valerie's Mustang utilized soft compound DOT-approved street tires for maximum traction. These tires perform nearly as well as all-out racing slicks. And Valerie gets out of the gate first, a Muldowney in the making. Meyer's Cobra Jet wins 1412 95.74 to a 1516 91.09. In the near lane, Richard Walker's 69 Roadrunner 383 automatic. In the far lane, Larry Fleming's 69 Charger 500 440 automatic. Fleming wins 1421 96.15 to 1471 93.55. In the near lane, Lawrence Conley in a 70 GSX Stage 1 automatic. In the far lane, John Hutchins 70 Grand Sport Stage 1 automatic convertible. Conley wins 1456 91.27 to 1480 95.33. In the near lane, Brian Thomas's 68 Roadrunner Hemi automatic. In the far lane, Ron Gadoshian's 73 Firebird 455 Super Duty automatic. Thomas's Roadrunner is the car that will face Bob Lindquist's Stage 1 Grand Sport in the Shootout at the Bend special best-of-3 match race coming up in a little while. This car is a potential 12-second performer. Thomas's Roadrunner backpedals to a 1493 52.87 to 1534 95.94 miles per hour. In the near lane, Len Greco in a 69 Super B 446 pack 4-speed. In the far lane, Wayne Garrison's 68 GTO 400 automatic. Greco's B gets the win, 1403 98.05 to 1577 88.87. Pat Krieger's beautiful 70 Cyclone spoiler gets the solo by run. This 429 beauty with its sculpted fenders, recessed hood scoop, and deck lid spoiler was to many Ford fans the finest Cyclone styling ever turned out by the Mercury division. Krieger goes through at 1473 91.46, and this concludes round 2 of Pure Stock Big Block. And talking about styling brings up another exciting facet of the 87 Musclecar Nationals, the car show that was held in the Circle Track area of the park. Some of the most perfectly restored American muscle cars were on display for all to see. Walking around the quarter-mile oval was like stepping back in time. Torino, Hurst Olds, Charger, Roadrunner, GTX, Grand Sport, Z28, Super Sport. Names from the past. Names that made your heart beat faster and put a smile on your face. This pristine 69 396 375 horse Nova Supersport is owned by Morris and Marilyn Bradley of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. The big block solid lifter Nova had a terrific power to weight ratio and the potential to run away from cars with much larger engines. Very few of these cars survive today, and even fewer are this clean. $4,070 today buys you an Econo box that won't pull the hat off your head. We asked Morris and Marilyn how they were enjoying the Musclecar Nationals.
I think it's gone real well. I think every make of car, GM, Ford, Chrysler, AMC alike, they've got good representation, and so far I think it's just a great show.
Marilyn, are you having a good time?
We've enjoyed it. We really have.
Yeah. Now let's get back to round 2 of competition with more of the Pure Stock Current class. In the near lane, Lloyd Tarter in an 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Lawrence Beals, 86 Grand National. Tarter gets the win, 1381 99.77 to an identical but losing 1381 100.22. In the near lane, Tony Tulls, 86 Grand National. In the far lane, Jim Wells, 87 Grand National. Wells gets there first, 1442 79.22 to 1594 63.55 miles per hour. In the near lane, Bob Colvin's 87 Regal T-Type. In the far lane, Jeff Harrington's 86 Grand National. Colvin gets the win, 1362 100 flat, 1426 97.61. In the near lane, Greg Olds, 85 Trans Am 305 automatic. In the far lane, Ron Wagner's 87 Grand National. Wagner wins 1455 93.36 to 1576 86.37. In the near lane, Bill Sineski in an 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Jim Kaminsky's 86 Grand National. Kaminsky gets there first, 1406 99.55 to 1448 96.15. In the near lane, Jeff Mosing's 87 Mustang LX 302 HO 5-speed. In the far lane, Matt Bennett's 86 Mustang GT 302 5-speed. Mosing's Mustang wins 1414 96.15 to 1509 92.59 miles per hour. In the near lane, Denise Barnes in an 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Corey Dykstra's 87 Grand National. Dykstra gets there ahead at 1440 94.93 to 1532 88.93 miles per hour. In the near lane, Ken Woodard's 87 Regal Automatic. In the far lane, Tom Bohannon's 87 Mustang GT 302 5-speed. Woodard wins 1470 94.14 to 1494 93.36. And this concludes the second round of the Pure Stock Current class. Now more round 2 action in the Junior Stock Big Block class. In the far lane, Dave Phillips' 66 Chevy 427 4-door 4-speed draws an easy solo by run. In the near lane, Tommy Edwards, 70 Grand Sport 455 Stage 1. In the far lane, David Bunn in a 70 Chevelle SS 454 automatic. This Grand Sport, owned by Bob Lindquist, races the Hemi Roadrunner of Brian Thomas in the Shootout at the Bend Special Best of 3 match race coming up in a little while. Like the Hemi, this car is also a 12-second stormer. Edwards rips a 1296, 96.35 to 1321, 103.68. In the near lane, Chet Varner, 69 Mustang, 428 SCJ 4-speed. In the far lane, Joe Schenfeld, 68 GTX 440 4-speed. Varner wins 1386, 101.12 to 1524, 94.14 miles per hour. In the near lane, Ed Myers, 68 Mustang, 428 automatic. In the far lane, Bob Kirkashian, 69 Super B, 440 6-pack automatic. Kirkashian storms to a 1291, 104.89 to 1412, 96.35. And that concludes round 2 of Junior Stock Big Block. Some people have all the luck. Ellen Wong won the long distance award. He came all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii to Portland, Oregon, where he bought this 87 Olds 442 and then came here to the Musclecar Nationals to race with his pit crew here and his family. Ellen, did you have a good time today?
Oh, yes.
What kind of times did you turn with your new Olds?
Oh, disappointing. Just a 1731.
Well, that's not bad. It's a beautiful car,
Yeah.
a luxury cruiser.
Yes, it's loaded. It's not broken in yet. It's only got 4,000 miles on it.
You're making a tour of the U.S. here, more or less?
Yep, one lap of America.
Where are you headed from here?
Up the coast to Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. Well, we just came from Disney World, so we're working our way up the coast now.
Well, you've got a long drive, but you got a real nice car to do it in.
Yeah, it's been very dependable, no problems. Just put gas and go.
And now the second round of the Junior Stock Current class. In the near lane, Jim Wells in an 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Lawrence Conley's 86 Grand National. Conley wins 1320, 102.73 to 1359, 100.67. In the near lane, Luther Harmon's 86 Grand National. In the far lane, Bob Myers, 73 Mustang, 351 automatic. Harmon takes the win, 1410, 97.19 to 1486, 92.78. And that concludes the second round of the Junior Stock Current class. And now round 2 of the Modified Stock Big Block class. In the near lane, Jeff Humble, 70 Cyclone, 429 CJ 4-speed. In the far lane, Dennis Bars, 69 Chevelle, 396 automatic. Bohr gets there first, 1434, 95.33 to 1437, 100.89. In the near lane, Joe Smith, 71 Javelin, 401 automatic. In the far lane, John Chamberlain, 70 Grand Sport, 455 automatic. Joe's going to need all of his great reflexes to handle Chamberlain's infamous GS, a car that's been on the receiving end of much Muscle Car Review Inc. Chamberlain's car is a hard launcher with 500 plus foot-pounds of torque. And Chamberlain gets a slight hole shot. Chamberlain pulls away for the win, 1321, 103.9 to 1401, 95.94. In the near lane, Norman Deals, 71 Grand Sport, 455 automatic. In the far lane, Danny Carroll, 68 Roadrunner, 440 automatic. And Carroll cuts the light too close and fouls. Deal takes the automatic win, 1284, 105.88 to 1361, 99.55. A quarter mile is roughly 2 city blocks long, 1,320 feet from starting line to finish line. To show how quickly an average muscle car covers that distance, let's view a race entirely from the finish line perspective. Ray Brown, 65 Satellite 383 automatic, is in the near lane. David Mattingly's Boss 429 is in the far lane. Brown reaches the finish line first in 13.71 seconds at 101.58. Mattingly turns 14.92 at 80.21. In the near lane, Jeff Humble, 70 Cyclone 429 CJ 4-speed. In the far lane, Kevin Burchell, 67 Camaro 396 automatic. And Humble apparently misses second gear. Burchell takes the win, 14.93, 63.55 to 16.18, 87.54. And that concludes round 2 of Modified Big Block. Now on to round 3 racing action in the pure stock big block class. In the near lane, Gene Rivers in a 69 Dodge RT 440 automatic. In the far lane, Larry Fleming, 69 Charger 500 440 automatic. Fleming wins 14:04, 98.03 to 14:39, 96.98. In the near lane, Pat Krieger in a 70 Cyclone Spoiler 429 automatic. In the far lane, Lawrence Conley, 70 GSX Stage 1 455 automatic. Conley gets there first, 14:02, 90.54 to 14:47, 95.74. In the near lane, Mason Dixon, 70 Challenger 446 pack. In the far lane, Valerie Myers, 68 Shelby 428 CJ 4-speed. How important are driver reaction times in drag racing? Here's a perfect example in this race. And Valerie gets a nice hole shot on Mason. Valerie wins 14:02, 97.19 to a quicker but losing 13:95, 100.89. Though slower by 7/100ths of a second, Valerie's quicker launch from the starting line wins the race. In the near lane, Michael Brown, 71 Roadrunner 6-pack automatic. In the far lane, Jeff Lees, 70 Roadrunner 383 automatic. And Brown red lights. Lee gets the automatic win, though Brown gets there first at 13:82, 100.67 to 14:26, 97.19. In the near lane, Brian Thomas's 68 Roadrunner Hemi automatic. In the far lane, Len Greco's 69 Super B 6-pack 4-speed. Thomas takes the win, 13:06, 80.21 to 13:86, 98.46, and that concludes round 3 of Pure Stock Big Block. Part of Beach Bend's large, clean pit area served as the location of the swap meet. Over 50 vendors, including Year One, Coker Tire, and Specialty Olds, displayed products and parts. Everything from heat tubes for your Hemi to a set of GTO exhaust manifolds. Or maybe you were on the lookout for a set of 70 Chevelle headlight surrounds. It was all there, and lots of people took home some real rare parts. Now let's return to round 3 racing action in the pure stock current class. In the near lane, Lloyd Tartar's 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Jim Wells' 87 Grand National. Tartar gets there first, 1382, 100.44 to a quicker but losing 1379, 99.11. In the near lane, Bob Colvin's 87 Regal T-Type. In the far lane, under all that smoke, is Jim Kaminsky's 86 Grand National. Kaminsky can't even see the tree to stage, so he waits to creep into the beams. Finally, the smoke from his burnout begins to clear and he starts to stage. Meanwhile, Colvin waits and the tension mounts. And Colvin red lights. Kaminsky gets the automatic win, though Colvin gets there first, 1371, 100.67 to 1395, 100.04. In the near lane, Ken Woodard's 87 Regal. In the far lane, Jeff Mosing's 87 Mustang 302 HO 5-speed. And Woodard red lights. Though Woodard gets there first, Mosing takes the automatic win, 1794, 63.46 to 1675, 63.82. In the near lane, Corey Dykstra's 87 Grand National. In the far lane, Ron Wagner's 87 Grand National. Dykstra wins 1420, 96.35 to 1455, 94.33, and that concludes round 3 of the pure stock current class. And now round 3 of junior stock big block. In the near lane, Bob Lindquist's 70 Grand Sport Stage 1 automatic.
We're ready to go with junior stock.
In the far lane, Dave Phillips' 66 Chevy 427 4-door 4-speed. A big car like Phillips Chevy may carry a lot of extra weight, but it's well distributed with a fair amount on the rear wheels. Watch how hard this big Chevy leaves. And Phillips seems to have lost traction on the third gear shift. Lindquist wins 1265, 107.91 to 1304, 105.38. In the near lane, Chet Varner's 69 Mustang 428 SCJ 4-speed. In the far lane, Bob Karkashian's 69 Super B 440 6-pack automatic. Karkashian wins 1279, 106.13 to 1408, 99.77. The junior stock big block final will be Bob Karkashian's 6-pack versus Bob Lindquist's Grand Sport Stage 1. And that concludes round 3 of junior stock big block. Now round 3 of modified stock big block. In the near lane, John Chamberlain's 70 Grand Sport 455 automatic. In the far lane, Norman Deal's 71 Grand Sport automatic. Chamberlain wins 1258, 107.9 to 1268, 107.14. In the near lane, Ray Brown, 65 Plymouth 383 automatic. In the far lane, Kevin Burchell, 67 Camaro 396 automatic. Burchell wins 1285, 108.43 to 1365, 92.59 miles per hour. Dennis Barr's 69 Chevelle 396 automatic gets a solo by run and makes an easy pass. And that concludes round 3 of modified stock big block. And now let's get into round 4 action of the pure stock big block class. In the near lane, Brian Thomas's 68 Hemi Roadrunner driven by Kent Ritter. In the far lane, Lawrence Conley's 70 GSX Stage 1. Thomas's Roadrunner, as we said before, will face Bob Lindquist Stage 1 in the Shootout at the Bend match race. We talked with Brian and his crew before the match race to check their confidence level. All year long, they've been talking about this face-off, the 426 Street Hemi versus the 455 Stage 1 Buick. Well, the Mopar guys have come loaded for bear. And here they are with a 1968 Street Hemi Roadrunner, the guys from the National Hemi Owners Association. Let's see what they've got to say about the forthcoming match race here. Fellas, who's going to take it?
We are, for sure. We feel we got a real good car here and a fine example of what a pure street Hemi is all about. And
Okay, are you the driver here?
No, the driver here is Kent Ritter.
Okay, Kent, what's this car been turning today? You going to talk about that right now? We won't tell anyone.
I think we'll wait till after the first round, then everybody will know.
Okay, that's your prerogative. Who's the owner of this car?
Hi, my name is Brian Thomas. I own this car, and Elvis Pucci and the people around us really put a considerable amount of time. El and I had several all-nighters, including a couple of the people behind us working on the car. I also happen to own the car that lost last year, the blue 1970 Hemi JITX. So we've got a real strong feeling about winning today. We're very confident, we're very calculated, we put a lot of effort into this project, and we're very confident that we're going to win.
We'll find out who's going to win in a few minutes, but now let's get back to round 4. Ritter in the Roadrunner, Conley in the yellow GSX. Conley's red light start gives Ritter the win, 13-13, 79.36 to 13-66, 101.35. In the near lane, Larry Fleming, 69 Charger 500, 440 automatic. In the far lane, Valerie Myers, 68 Shelby, 428 CJ 4-speed. Valerie's proven herself to be a fierce competitor, getting off the line quick and stirring that 4-speed flawlessly run after run. Larry's done a remarkable job of driving too, and his Charger's performing well. This should be a real good race. And once again, Valerie gets out of the gate first. Meyer wins 13.91, 97.61 to 14.11, 97.82. Jeff Lee's 70 Roadrunner 383 automatic makes an easy pass on the solo by run. And that concludes round 4 of Pure Stock Big Block. And now round 4 of the Pure Stock Current class. In the near lane, Jeff Mosing's 87 Mustang 302 HO 5-speed. In the far lane, Corey Dykstra's 87 Grand National. Mosing is driving the only non-turbo Buick left in this class. He'll have to be quick to bring down Dykstra's Grand National. Mosing red lights. Corey knows it and acknowledges with a wave. Mosing goes through at 14.16, 96.98, but Dykstra automatically wins and coasts through at 23.14, 44.20 miles per hour. In the near lane, Lloyd Tarter's 87 Grand National. And in the far lane, Jim Kaminsky's 86 Grand National. Kaminsky wins 13.77, 102.73 to 13.99, 101.35. So the Pure Stock Current Final will be Dykstra's Grand National versus Kaminsky's Grand National. And that concludes round 4 of the Pure Stock Current class. And now round 4 of Modified Big Block. John Chamberlain's Big Bad Grand Sport takes a solo by run and blazes all out toward the big end. Chamberlain shows how a by run should be done and rips through at 12:47, 108.17. In the near lane, Dennis Barr, 69 Chevelle, 396 automatic. In the far lane, Kevin Burchell, 67 Camaro, 396 automatic. Burchell wins 1371 96.56 to 1415 95.33, and that concludes round 4 of modified big block. Now round 5 of the pure stock big block class. Kent Ritter takes the Brian Thomas Roadrunner on an easy by run. In the near lane, Jeff Lee's 70 Roadrunner 383 automatic. In the far lane, Valerie Myers' 68 Shelby 428 4-speed. And Lee red lights. Meyer gets the win 1370 98.25 to 1416 97.61. So the final of pure stock big block will be Valerie Myers' Mustang versus Brian Thomas's Roadrunner. And that concludes round 5 of pure stock big block. And now the finals of all classes. First up is the final run in the pure stock small block class. In the near lane, Joe Rajacek 71 Demon GSS 340 automatic. In the far lane, Brad Hillick 71 AMC Hornet SC 360 4-speed. Rajacek takes the class win, 14-12, 98.46 to 15-15, 96.98. Now the finals in the pure stock current class. In the near lane, Jim Kaminsky's 86 Grand National. In the far lane, Corey Dykstra's similar 86 Grand National. And Dykstra red lights. And then he has trouble as a puff of ominous smoke comes out of his car. Kaminsky pulls ahead for the class win 1396 101.35 to a troubled 20.55 at 48.07 miles per hour. Now the finals of junior stock small block. John Sonderman takes his beautiful 69 Camaro pace car convertible through for a solo class win 1521 93.94 miles per hour. And now the finals of the junior stock current class. In the near lane, Luther Harmon's 86 Grand National. And smoking it up in the far lane is Lawrence Conley's 86 Grand National. The Turbo V6 Buick is a stunning example of modern-day muscle. It's a shame that after November 1987, the front-engine, rear-drive turbo cars will no longer be sold. Conley waits for the smoke to clear and then makes his move to stage. Conley gets the class win 1324 103.68 to 1372 99.11. And now the finals of modified small block. In the near lane, Tim Davis in a 71 Dodge Demon 344 speed. In the far lane, Clark Rader's 73 Dodge Dart 340 automatic. Davis takes the class win 1336 103.92 to 1597 90.72. And now the finals in pure stock big block. In the near lane, Brian Thomas's 68 Hemi Roadrunner automatic, driven by Kent Ritter. In the far lane, Valerie Myers' 68 Shelby Mustang 428 4-speed. Valerie's been the crowd favorite in this class by displaying an exceptionally consistent driving style. Her work is cut out for her in the final, though. The big Hemi has turned high 12s, while Valerie's best ETs have been only in the high 13s. Will her quick reflexes get her out in front of Ritter far enough to hold him off? She's creeping slowly into the stage beams, taking her time, perhaps hoping to unnerve Ritter, who sits waiting on the line. Will this psych out work? No, Meyer red lights. Ritter takes the automatic class win, 1382, 61.55 to 1384, 97.40. Now the finals of Junior Stock Big Block. In the near lane, Bob Lindquist, 70 Grand Sport Stage 1, driven by Tommy Edwards. In the far lane, Bob Karakashian, 69 Super B, 446-pack automatic. Edwards sizes up Karakashian as Bob bumps the B into the staging beams. Karakashian gets a slight hole shot. But Edwards reels him in and gets the class win, 1271, 107.91 to 1277, 106.13. Let's take another look at that spectacular finish. Now the finals of Modified Big Block. In the near lane, Kevin Burchell, 67 Camaro, 396 automatic. In the far lane, John Chamberlain, 70 Grand Sport, 455 automatic. Burchell gets the class win, 1306, 107.65 to a quicker but losing 1260, 107.91. In March of 1985, Muscle Car Review staged a match race between a 455 Stage 1 Grand Sport and a 426 Street Hemi Plymouth GTX. The Buick won and the controversy began. Chet Varner brought a big block Ford and David Bunn brought a big block Chevy to race at the '87 Musclecar Nationals. We talked with them about a couple of other big blocks, the Hemi and the Grand Sport, and asked them which car would come out on top in the match race you're about to see.
That Hemi's awful strong. I think he's going to have a good chance, but they both are very good cars, so we're going to hope for the best on both.
You agree?
Yeah, I think the Chrysler boys have got them one out here to defend the faith, and I believe they really got them a hot one together.
And now the match race you've waited 2 years to see. Stage 1 versus Hemi, the shootout at the Bend. Round 1 of the best of 3 matchup. In the near lane, Brian Thomas's 68 Roadrunner, driven by Kent Ritter. For the Roadrunner, 426 cubic inches, 425 horsepower, 490 foot-pounds of torque, and 410 gears. In the far lane, Bob Lindquist's Grand Sport, driven by Tommy Edwards. For the GS, 455 cubic inches, 360 underrated horsepower, 510 foot-pounds of torque, and 342 gears. Both cars are equipped with automatic transmissions and soft compound tires. Dual Carter AFBs and solid lifters on the Hemi, 1 large quadrajet and hydraulic lifters on the Buick. The Hemi is clearly a high RPM performer, while the Buick produces its punch just off idle. High RPM horsepower versus low RPM torque. Lots of bragging rights rest on the outcome of this match race. And the Buick leaps to an early lead. But the Hemi catches up on top end. 1271, 107.65 to 1285, 105.88. We'll come back for round 2 of Shootout at the Bend in just a moment. But now let's have a word with GS driver Tommy Edwards and mechanic Fred Catlin. Round 1 of the year's hottest match race went to the Hemi this time, but we're over here in the Buick pits right now talking to these guys, and there's no downtrodden faces over here. Nothing but optimism. Now let's see what's going on here for the next round. GS guys, what do you got up your sleeves?
Drive as good as you can, as fast as you can, only I can say.
Hey, you've got nothing to be ashamed about on that run. That was a mighty, mighty close race. What was it? What separated you? How much time?
Well, it was 1,000th of a second.
1,000th of a second, man. I'm telling you, fender to fender on the big end down there.
I only had a 512 light, and the other guy was 643 light.
Which I knew the car was quicker, you know, so I knew I had to come in on the tree, try to edge him out on the end. Like I say, it was close, I couldn't even tell.
Okay, well, you going to do anything different next round on your driving technique?
No, just try to do the same thing, hope for the best, you know.
Okay. Maybe drop the shift point down a couple hundred RPM or so, see if it mile an hour like I did the second or third pass on the car.
In addition to the big GS versus Hemi shootout, Muscle Car Review brought together a number of cars for mini shootouts. Let's enjoy a few of the best. In the near lane, Lawrence Conley's 70 GSX Stage 1 automatic. In the far lane, Dan Bennett, 70 Chevelle SS 454 LS6 automatic. The suspension action on these big cube monsters is really emphatic. Street tires or not, these babies are really hooking up. You know, coming to a meet like the Musclecar Nationals gives you a chance to revisit the past, to see once again those cars of your youth and the races of your dreams. The tree counts down, and Conley red lights. Bennett takes the automatic win, 1393, 98.25 to 1318, 102.73. Now let's go directly to round 2 of this match race. In the near lane, Dan Bennett's LS6 Chevelle. In the far lane, Lawrence Conley's GSX. Conley gets there first, no ET recorded, 102.09 to 1376, 98.25. Now let's go directly to round 3 of this match race. In the near lane, Lawrence Conley's GSX. In the far lane, Dan Bennett's LS6 Chevelle. And Bennett pulls a tremendous hole shot on Conley. Bennett goes through at 1375, 98.46 to take the match series as Conley has trouble. And now our second mini shootout. In the near lane, Gene Rivers, 69 Dodge RT, 440 automatic. In the far lane, Pat Krieger's 70 Cyclone spoiler, 429 CJ automatic. Krieger wins 1460, 95.13 to 1488, 91.83. Now let's go directly to round 2 of this match race. In the near lane, Pat Krieger's Cyclone spoiler. In the far lane, Gene Rivers' Dodge RT. Rivers wins 1427, 96.77 to 1498, 92.97. Now let's go directly to round 3 of this match. In the near lane, Gene Rivers' Dodge RT. In the far lane, Pat Krieger's Cyclone spoiler. Rivers wins at 1421, 96.98 to 1458, 94.73, and the Dodge takes the match series win. And now our third mini shootout. In the near lane, Scott Moore's 74 CUDA 360 automatic. In the far lane, Brad Hillock's 71 AMC SC 360 4-speed. Moore wins 1497, 93.36 to a quicker but losing 1471, 96.39. And now on to the second round of this match. In the near lane, Brad Hillock's SC 360. In the far lane, Scott Moore's CUDA. In a close race, Hillock wins 1483, 94.93 to 1491, 93.16. And now on to the third round of this match. In the near lane, Scott Moore's CUDA. In the far lane, Brad Hillock's SC 360. Hillock wins 1512, 93.16 to 1542, 89.10. The AMC takes the match race series win. And now our fourth and final mini shootout before returning to round 2 of the Hemi versus GS confrontation, the shootout at the Bend. In the near lane, J.C. Brown, 67 Chevelle, 396, 325 horse 4-speed. In the far lane, Danny Lappy's 69 SC Rambler, 390 4-speed. Brown gets there first, 14:50, 99.56 to a quicker but losing 14:48, 97.88. Now let's go to round 2 of this match. In the near lane, Danny Lappy's SC Rambler. These SC Ramblers with their red, white, and blue colors had perhaps the wildest paint schemes ever applied to a factory car. In the far lane, J.C. Brown Chevelle. Brown wins 14:39, 99.3 to 14:49, 98.03. The Chevelle takes the match series 2 straight. And now let's return to round 2 of the Shootout at the Bend. The Big Hemi is ahead 1-0 at this point. In the first race, less than half a car length separated the two cars as they crossed the finish line, 12:71 to 12:85. Edwards cut a good light in round 1, but Ritter passed him at the first set of mile-per-hour lights. Can Edwards get out of the gate ahead of Ritter enough to hold him off on top end? It looks like the Hemi has a few tenths edge, so driver reaction could very well make the difference. In the near lane, Kent Ritter in Brian Thomas's Hemi Roadrunner. In the far lane, Tommy Edwards in Bob Lindquist's GS. And they leave the line together. But Ritter pulls away at mid-track to take the win, 12:62, 108.69 to 12:90, 106.38. The match goes 2 straight to the Hemi. Let's have a word with the victorious Mopar team.
The NHOA came prepared to take home a win, and that's exactly what they did. 2 in a row for the big Hemi Roadrunner, a 12:60 at 108 versus a 12:90 for the Grand Sport. How you feel, guys?
Fantastic.
We feel great.
Good run. You're going to go back to New York and party up this evening, or are you going to stick
I
around?
might just party up down here.
How'd the run go? Were you pretty much even off the line? How'd it work out off the gate there?
Well, Kent's the one that shooted the car here, and looks like things were pretty even in the second run there.
Okay, well, let's have a word with the driver here. What'd you do? Did you get a whole shot, or did you come out head-to-head, or what?
No, I think we came out pretty even the second time, and just the old brute horsepower.
Just that big elephant motor pulled him down on top end, huh? Okay, well, guys, good job, and you're to be congratulated.
Thank you very much.
Now let's take a few moments to honor the 8 individual class champions of the 1987 Musclecar Nationals, each of whom received an engraved winner's wall plaque from Musclecar Review publisher Howard Buck. These are truly winners in one of the nation's fastest growing forms of motorsports, muscle car racing. These are people you can identify with, driving the cars you once drove 15 or more years ago. This is racing at its best, pure and simple, without arbitrary handicaps. This is plain old fun from start to finish.